Peace, family. Y'all know who it is. It's Bakari Lumumba back once again, the progenitor of LumumbaSpeaks.com, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe we could gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Back once again, I think we're going to have a great show, a stimulating show, a provocative show regarding uh, the Keke Palmer saga, right? And the question is, should respect come after marriage? That's the question that we're asking this evening. Should respect come after marriage? Family, I believe that the link is in the chat, right? In the description. I'll put the link in the chat momentarily and we could get the conversation started. Um, but we want to make sure we allow some people to come in here. But once again, you're watching Lumumba Speaks here on YouTube, a Black empowerment initiative where we believe you can gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. We, of course, believe in the three ends of Black power: self respect, self defense, and, of course, self determination. And so we're going to be taking a look at the Black family unit, right? There are a lot of conversations taking place across a number of different platforms regarding what many people will call argue is a gender war, right? And so I'm going to give my take on that, but I definitely want to get some other brothers and sisters coming in and we have this conversation. But first and foremost, I would argue that there really is an agenda war. I think what took place is that a lot of men, particularly Black men, took umbrage, took issue um, with the dynamic of relationships, right? And we're talking about heterosexual relationships, right? The one-way violence that would take place in which women would be cantankerous, argumentative, oftentimes emotionally and verbally abusive, and men would accept it, right? They would be stoic in nature and just accept the disrespect. Um, I would argue, and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson has spoken about this, even of course Dr. The other brother, I can't recall his name, but he wrote the book Man Not. But he talks about when men started speaking out against the verbal and emotional abuse that they were facing in relationships, then it became, oh, this is a gender war, you're bashing Black women, so on and so forth. But I think we're looking at a new generation of men who are not willing to suffer in silence, right? Aren't willing to suffer in silence, and so much so that they're willing to say, hey, if this type of behavior is going to take place, if this is what the relationship is going to be like, then I would rather be by myself. Or, of course, as a result, we have what we now see the passport bro movement, right? So there's a lot to unpack here. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, family. You all could tap in, but the question we really want to ask, and then of course we could dovetail into some other issues regarding should respect come after marriage. And many people are arguing that Keke Palmer doesn't have to respect her baby daddy. I would presume they're in a relationship together. Presume that they live together based on some of the posts I've seen. I don't follow either one of them on social media, but that there's a belief, at least this is coming out from, some would argue, the feminists, right, that she doesn't have to respect him until they're married, right? So we want to really unpack that conversation. I'm going to share my thoughts on the situation, particularly her dancing with Usher, so on and so forth. But before we do that, let's go over the ground rules here at Lumumba Speaks. So first and foremost, diversity of thought is welcome. So uh, you can have a dissenting opinion, you can have an unpopular opinion, but your opinion is welcome here at Lumumba Speaks. Once again, if you're watching, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Even share with your friends and family. Let's break the algorithm. Let's get some people in here and let's have a great conversation this evening. So diversity of thought is welcome. Number two, no racial epithets of any kind, right? So this is a space of Black empowerment. We believe in the three ends of Black power, as I said it before: self-respect, self-defense, self-determination. So we don't allow racial epithets of any kind to be used on my platform. Facts over feelings. This is of the utmost importance. We want to make sure that if someone provides an opinion that you disagree with, you have a right to disagree, but we want to attack what the person's opinion and not that person himself. We don't want to deal ad hominems. One, we want to have intelligent Black thought here. And for me, and just in my opinion, is a poor taste, it's unbecoming, and it's extremely juvenile in nature. So attack the argument, not the person. If you can't do that, then of course I'm gonna have to exit you from the space. And then, of course, last but not least, no fundamentally false statements. So what do I mean by that? You can have a dissenting opinion, diversity of thought is welcome. However, no fundamentally false statements, but you can provide your own opinion. So an example is you could believe that LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. He's not, in my opinion, right? I think it's factual as well that he's not, but that's your opinion. But if you were to state that Michael Jordan only won 2 championships, that would be a statement that is patently false. And so then I would interject. And then, of course, last but not least, our mission here at Lamont Speaks is neither to exonerate or vilify, but to challenge conventional wisdom and re-examine what has been previously accepted as fact. So with that being stated, the link is in the chat, family. Tap in. We are asking the question this evening. And if you want to tap in, once again, you do not, keyword, you do not have to cam up, and you can use a pseudonym if you want to be part of the conversation. But the question is, should respect come after marriage? We're looking at the Keke Palmer saga here on YouTube. Lumumba Speaks, a Black Empowerment Initiative, where we believe we could gain a competitive advantage by always betting on Black. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So I'm going to give my perspective. I can recall when I was an undergrad, I had recently gotten into a relationship, and my lady and I, we were on a campus quad, and it was like Latin week or salsa week. Somehow it was I think it was Latin week, Latinx week, something like that. And so they had some people out on the quad doing a salsa. So if most of you know, the salsa is an energetic dance, but it's also very sensual, and some people would even argue sexy in nature. What ends up taking place is I get grabbed. Somebody that I knew, this was an Afro-Latino woman. She grabs me, and we out there doing the salsa, and I'm being my usual gregarious self, and like I'm playing up to the crowd, the whole nine, dancing sensually with this woman. It's over. I take my bow, as I'm accustomed to do. I have a thespian background. Walk off. Girlfriend pushed me to the side and said, "Hey, that was disrespectful." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Listen, we might be new in a relationship, but I don't want to see you grinding and gyrating on another woman or dancing in a sensual nature with another woman." I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. It'll never happen again." Right? So I would argue that respect should come before marriage. I said, I'm of the opinion that respect should start from the day you enter into a monogamous relationship with the person. You should just respect people, period, right? But in terms of relationship, the moment you choose to say, I want to be in a public-facing relationship with you, you should respect that person, right? So I don't think that you should wait to respect the person until you're married. You should respect that person from the moment you all decide to be in a monogamous, public-facing relationship, right? That's my perspective. Of course, we saw a number of comments from individuals on social media. Oh, he's jealous of you. You're making these ad hominem attacks, really moving the goalpost, trying to make it about other issues rather than what it's actually about. So want to open up here because we're seeing these type of things in the community, in Black relationships, Black love. Many have argued is on life support. I think part of it is just the fundamental lack of respect. I can recall attending a Kwanzaa celebration, as I'm apt to do, and one of the things that have come up is that there needs to be an unofficial principle of Kwanzaa, and that is Hashima, right, or respect. That we have to undergo everything that we do with respect for one another. And I would argue to say that what we're seeing nowadays, unfortunately, is a lack of respect of each other's partner in relationships. I know if I was in a relationship, I would not in any way, shape, or form do something like that, right? I don't care if it's Tony Braxton on the stage, Holly Berry. I'm going to respect my partner, respect my woman enough to where I'm not going to do something like that that would be disrespectful. So that's just my own personal anecdotal experience regarding that type of an issue. But I would love to hear what you all have to say as we ask the question, should respect come after marriage? We're looking at the Keke Palmer saga here on YouTube. You're watching Lumumba Speaks, a Black Empowerment Initiative, where we believe we should always bet on Black. So make sure you tap in, family. The link is in the chat. I also believe that the link is in the description. I would check rather quickly, but I do believe that the link is in the description, and then we want to get this conversation started, right? I think the Black Eyed Peas had a song, "Let's Get This Party Started," but we want to get this conversation started. So if you can, make sure that you tap in to be part of the conversation. And yes, the link is in the chat, family. So let's tap in and be part of this conversation as we discuss really Black relationships, right? I would argue once again that Black relationships tend to be on life support. I've even had conversations with individuals, comrades, right, who are in the struggle, who have oftentimes taken a romanticized the relationships of our ancestors and some of our warriors, right, of yesteryear, particularly Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Betty Shabazz, etc. And so we can even take some time to unpack that and really have a more of a realistic view of those relationships and marriages rather than a rose-colored lens, right? We know we tend to romanticize, unfortunately, oftentimes our history, and I think that is extremely detrimental in terms of how we have to look at how we're going to build and develop for, of course, the future. So, as I said before, family, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. The question is, should respect come after marriage? I would argue that many modern women are now stating that they don't have to respect their partner until they're married. I think that's nonsensical. My thoughts are that the moment you are in a relationship with a person, you should respect that person whenever you decide to be in a public facing relationship. I think you should respect people, period. But definitely, if you are in a public facing relationship, you should definitely respect that person from the moment that relationship begins, not waiting until the person marries you, but then say, now I'm going to respect you. I don't think people can flip a switch and all of a sudden respect somebody. So that's my perspective. It might be a bit old school, right? But excuse me, I definitely want to hear what you all have to say. The link is in the chat, family. Also, would like for you all to follow me on Medium. Uh, I am going to put the link to my Medium account uh, in the chat. If you follow me, and as you all know, or not do not know, but you do not have to. Our keyword is you do not have to. Uh, there's no fee to follow someone on Medium. So definitely hope that you all can do that. Looking to be part of the partnership program on Medium. But once again, family, tap in. Should respect come after marriage? We're talking about the Keke Palmer saga, in which of course she wore some clothing that was considered inappropriate by many. Then, of course, her behavior with Usher. Many people were thinking of the Boondocks episode where Usher showed up, and of course, it was someone's birthday, as it was Keke Palmer's birthday, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And then, of course, he was singing and so on and so forth in the Boondocks episode. So, um, but once again, tap in. Let's be part of the conversation. The link is in the chat. You do not have to cam up. Okay, you do not have to cam up, and you can use a pseudonym if you want to be part of the conversation. My perspective, my position on this issue is that you should respect your partner from the moment you decide to be in a relationship with them. You shouldn't wait till you're married to respect the person. I don't think that you could ever have a healthy relationship of any kind, we're talking about romantic, platonic, of any kind, if you don't respect the person. Then you shouldn't have to wait till marriage to respect someone. So that's my perspective. We can have a whole other side conversation on her choosing to carry before she marries. We've heard women say, "Hey, it's your body; you can do whatever you want." This kind of individualistic type mantra mindset, I think, is extremely detrimental uh, to relationships. I think when you are in a healthy adult relationship, you consider your partner's feelings, how they feel, their thoughts, and I think also if you're going to be in a healthy relationship, that your values have to be sacrosanct, right? They need to be aligned. I don't think that you have to have the same interests, right? I could think of my parents who have been married 46 years, um, and they don't have the same interests per se. They have some mutual interests, but not completely the same interests, but their values are intertwined. And so I think that is an issue as well, that oftentimes, as we like to call it in the manosphere, people use the term, there are chameleons out there, individuals that would play a certain role, go along for whatever reason. It's expedient to do so. That once they're able to get what they want, they will flip the script and show their true colors. So extremely problematic behavior. Hopefully, we don't have anyone on here who is into that type of foolishness, but definitely looking to have a conversation this evening regarding the dynamic question, the provocative question, the engaging question of should respect come after marriage. We're talking about the Keke Palmer saga. And one of the major issues is this something that we're seeing in our community? I would dare say that we see this type of behavior. I saw a clip. There's a brother, some brothers actually, they do a thing on YouTube known as a gold digger prank. And I would hope that these are um, planned videos, that these are actually edited videos, scripted videos. But if they aren't, I think it's extremely troubling and disconcerting that we've seen situations where women were married, women were engaged, women were in long-term relationships, and when they had children with their partner, and the guy pulled up in a sports car, and the woman was willing to leave her partner on site. So much so that in some of the videos, the women actually call their partner and say the relationship is over with, right? Extremely problematic behavior, unbecoming behavior. And so my hope, my prayer, my wish, and my desire um, is that those videos are, of course, scripted. They are not actual reflections of reality. But with that being said, family, the link is in the chat. Once again, the link is in the chat. You do not have to cam up. You do not have to use your actual name. You could use a pseudonym. And I would love for you all to be part of this conversation this evening as we're seeking to unpack the Keke Palmer saga, right? And we're looking at this issue of if should one wait till marriage to respect their partner. I think, of course, that is nonsensical, right? That's a term you may hear a lot this evening. But I think it's nonsensical that someone would wait until they're married to respect their partner, right? But this is something that tends to take place. So definitely want everyone to tap in, be part of the conversation, and let me know what you think, right? What you think about this issue. You want to reflect. If you have any personal anecdotes that you would like to share, I would love to hear from you all. So that make sure you tap in. The link is in the chat, family. Um, and I want to hear your thoughts on if if one should respect their partner before or after marriage. And if you're watching, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. As I said, the link is in the chat. The link to my platform, my profile on Medium is in the chat as well. So please go on to Medium, tap in, and follow me on Medium. Once again, as I stated, we're looking to have a robust, intellectually engaging, stimulating conversation regarding the Keke Palmer saga. Right, and the question: should respect come after marriage, not before, but after marriage? We know we've all had conversations regarding one should marry before they carry, right? And that this is what we like to call old folk wisdom or old school wisdom, divine providence. Some would even argue, because many people will relate this to, of course, some of the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. We're not even going to get into that, but we do know that this is even something that is seen in traditional African culture. And by traditional African culture, I mean African culture independent of European and Arab influence. So, uh, independent of European and Arab influence, we do find in traditional West and Central African culture, um, for example, if one impregnated a woman and did not marry that woman, there were social consequences that one would play. So, definitely we understand that this isn't just a religious perspective. Because many people say, "Oh, you're going to the Bible, you're going to the Quran, you're going to the Torah, the Pentateuch." Not the case whatsoever. And we have to understand that human cultures do have things in common with each other. But with that being said, family, the link is in the chat. I would love to hear what you all have to say about should respect come after marriage, not before, but after marriage. We're talking about the Keke Palmer saga. If you are unaware, living under a rock, as I am sometimes, the conversation is, of course, we know what took place: birthday party, birthday bash. What say you? Her behavior, her dress, her behavior, dancing on Usher, the R&B singer Usher Raymond. Many took umbrage with this, um, and on both sides actually. But then, of course, we know there were a lot of women who came out and supported her behavior, and so we want to unpack this. We want to have a conversation um, regarding should respect come after marriage. We could talk about the state of the black uh, family, the state of black relationships. We even focus on the so-called gender wars. I started off at the top of the show, and I probably said this ad nauseum on my channel, is that we really only saw this conversation of regarding there being a gender war when men actually said, "Hey, I don't want to put up with being disrespected. I don't want to put up. I'm not going to put up with being a mule, right? To where I'm working myself to the bone, and you're just extracting financial resources from me, right? This concept of you being more of a liability than an asset, right? this concept of I'm going to spend your money but make my own, right? And when men started pushing back against what many would argue modern woman type behavior, then it was deemed, oh, this is a gender war. You are attacking women, so on and so forth. I saw on Revolt Diddy's Puff Daddy's channel, there was a guy. He has his own show, and we know Dr. Umar Johnson is a meme nowadays, right? But he was making some comments regarding Ebony, whatever her name is, the sister that was talking about. I won't date a man unless he owns the bus rather than just being a bus driver. Umar Johnson made some comments about, hey, you could talk about betting on black, but you're in a relationship with you were engaged to a white man, so we could kill the black talk. And he came, oh man, you're attacking this woman, so on and so forth. So we see this concept of almost like women are untouchable, right? The Teflon, right? Nothing that they do is wrong. This would be extremely problematic because I would argue it creates a sense of entitlement, right? But one of the major issues that the brother talked about was that, well, we don't see this type of thing going on in other communities to where if you're married to somebody of another race, you're not considered part of the community. You can't be part of community conversations. And actually, that isn't true. I've seen this. I've worked with a number of affinity groups in higher education, and I've observed that is the case, right? I can recall when I was an undergrad, there was an Asian Pacific Islander student union, and there was a brother, socially awkward brother, but he was a brother who wanted to join the Asian Pacific Islander student union because he had a bad experience with a black woman and didn't want to join the black student union. His claim to fame, right? His claim to being in a community and adjacent to the Asian Pacific Islander student union was that his uncle was stationed in Taiwan doing his military um, career. They told him flat out, we're talking about 18, 19, 20, or so him flat out, you can't be part of the Asian student union because you're not Asian. You can come to all the meetings, but you can't be part of this group because you're not one of us, right? And I've seen this before. We talk about even Jewish in the Jewish community. Many people may be aware that my forthcoming dissertation is on Black culture centers in the era of intersectionality. But part of, when you're doing the history of culture centers in higher education, what we found is that Jewish culture centers or Hillel centers are adjacent to what? Public institutions of higher education. They are adjacent to, but not on campus, but they're adjacent to campus. And Jewish culture centers were created over 100 years ago, well, around 100 years ago. This is 2023, so probably in the early 1920s. But they were created due to the fact that they saw what? Jewish college students marrying outside of their own racial ethnic group. The Jewish community saw this as a problem and said we must take action to correct it. So we find that this concept of frowning upon heterogeneous marriage, relationships, and procreation is the norm throughout the world, right? So this is something that we need to consider. Excuse me, when we're talking about dealing with facts and not the hype. I shade Black Power. So once again, family, the link is in the chat. If you're watching, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. We want you to tap in, be part of the conversation. The question is, should respect come after marriage? We're talking about the Keke Palmer saga. Once again, as I stated before, you're living under a rock. You may be unaware of the situation with Usher Raymond, the, of course, famed R&B singer who was singing, dancing sensually with Keke Palmer. She wore a dress that I was told was, it had her derriere hanging out. Her, I would believe, boyfriend, the father of her child, went out on social media, excuse me, and took umbrage with the fact that she was engaging in said behavior and dressed the way that she did. He caught a lot of flack for that. I'm not a fan of addressing uh, issues on social media. I would never do that. I think that's young people behavior, right? Um, but with that being said, would love for you all to tap in, be part of the conversation. The link is in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat again if you are unable to see it. But then also, I want to make sure that you all follow me on Medium, right? Follow me on Medium. Uh, so one moment, I'm actually going to bring this up. So the link is in the chat. Just put the link in the chat. If you follow me on Medium, you can actually take a look at my recent article I wrote 6 days ago. It's only like 2-3 minute read on the fine art of black male bashing, where we're really taking a look at introspective look to deconstruct the comments made by Dr. Umar Johnson probably about 2-3 weeks ago on the Daily Rap Crew podcast, where he argued that black men had abandoned black boys, and that black women's cantankerous, harridan, and recalcitrant behavior was due to the failure of black men. So, and we know this is a particular reverse. This is a 180 from the Umar Johnson of yesteryear, in which he actually oftentimes praised black men for our role in setting up against the structural, institutional, systemic anti-black racism that we face. So many argue that he's doing this to ingratiate himself with the female audience, that he's simply seeking to simply cater for single mothers or baby moms. But if you were interested in reading that piece, you could go on to, of course, my profile on Medium. And as I stated before, please follow. It does not cost you anything to follow me on Medium. But at the same time, I want to become part of the partnership program, and I can't do that without your help. So once again, if you could follow me on Medium, family, I'm going to put the link to my profile once again on Medium. But I would definitely appreciate if you all could follow me on that platform as well. Brother Eddie, let me see what you have to say here. I would have joined StreamYard if I was alone at home because I do not want to disturb. Understood, brother. I hope you are a new subscriber. If you're not, please do. But how about you put some comments in the chat, and then we can have a conversation that way. I understand if you're home, you're not alone. You probably don't want to be engaging in a robust conversation that may last who knows how many hours. If you're in a situation in which you don't know if you can be disturbed or be in privacy, but if you could put your comments in the chat, that'd be greatly appreciated. Once again, family, if you're watching, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. But tap in as well. Right? We want you to tap in. You use a pseudonym. You don't have to cam up. We want to have this conversation regarding should respect come after marriage, right? This is the argument that many modern women are stating, that I'm not going to respect my man until he is my husband, right? So we're talking about the Keke Palmer saga. So definitely want to be part of this conversation. Want you all to be part of the conversation. Tap in, be part of the convo as we discuss. Should respect come not before, but after marriage? Is this a modern concept? Is this how the current generation looks to handle and engage in relationships? Definitely want to hear what you all have to say. This is a new idea to me, not something I would ascribe to. I believe you should respect the person from the moment you choose to be in a relationship with them, particularly if it's going to be a public-facing relationship, but really all relationships, romantic, platonic, of any kind. I think you should seek to respect your partner. I think, in my opinion, it would be nonsensical not to, right? To respect someone that you choose, once again, that you choose to be in a relationship with, right? I think that's absolutely mind-boggling that I would not respect someone that I've chosen to be in a relationship with, right? If I'm choosing to be in a relationship with someone that would speak, I would argue that means that I think highly of the person. But that's neither here nor there. People get into relationships nowadays for a multitude of reasons that are too numerous to name, right? But once again, family, would love for you all to tap in, be part of the conversation. You do not have to cam up. You do not, keyword, you do not have to use your actual name. You can use a pseudonym. Let's have a great conversation this evening regarding should respect come after marriage. Not before marriage, but after marriage. We're looking to have a conversation regarding the Keke Palmer saga. Definitely want people to tap in and be part of the conversation. Once again, the link is in the chat. Also, the link to my Medium profile is in the chat as well. We're going to big up Medium. We definitely want you all to tap in and be part of that conversation. But want to big up my Medium because I want you all to follow me on Medium as well. So if you could do that, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So, and as you don't know, Medium is an online publishing platform. So if you want to be part of the conversation, you can do that. Many people argue it's a form of social journalism, right? So definitely hoping that you all can do that. But tap in, family. If not, I'm going to have to go ahead and log off. I don't want to log off because I really think this is a conversation that we need to have, that we can have, and I think that will actually uncover a lot in terms of what people, brothers and sisters, are thinking in the community. So definitely tap in, be part of the conversation. As I said before, I want to keep this going this evening. I don't want to shut it down prematurely. But if that's the case and no one taps in, I would do that because I've given my perspective on the situation. But I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer. And my hope, my desire, my wish, my prayer, if I was a praying man, right, um, is that of course some brothers and sisters could tap in, be part of the conversation. You don't have to cam up; you can use a pseudonym, and then of course we can have a great conversation regarding the Keke Palmer saga. And of course, the question is, should respect come after marriage, not before marriage, but after marriage? I would dare say no. I think you should respect the person from the moment you decide to enter into a relationship with someone. Everyone has agency, and so that's a choice one makes. I don't know why a person would enter into a relationship that with someone that they don't respect. But with that being said, family, I'm going to keep things going for just a little while longer, and if not, I'm going to, of course, log off. But tap in and be part of the conversation. Right, tap in and be part of the conversation. The link is in the chat. Tap in and be part of the conversation. Absolutely. So, all right, family. Well, I guess I'm going to be disappointed this evening. Um, was definitely looking forward to having some brothers and sisters tap in and be part of the conversation. We know that black relationships is a hot topic nowadays, but maybe not tonight, right? Maybe not tonight. So, I appreciate everyone for coming on, logging on. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And please, if you can, follow me on Medium. As I said before, I want to be part of the partnership program. So if you can follow me on Medium, that'd be greatly appreciated. Till next time, y'all know what to do. Peace.